Picture Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, seated in a quiet chamber at night. The empire around him is restless wars at the borders, betrayal in the Senate, plagues in the city. He has the authority to command armies to end lives with a gesture to silence his enemies with one decree. Yet instead of exploding in anger or collapsing in despair, he bends over a small wax tablet and writes to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is not the voice of an emperor flexing power. It is the voice of a man wrestling with his own emotions. His diary. Meditations is not a book for the world. It was never meant for us. It was Marcus talking himself down from anger, reminding himself to master fear, to tame desire. If even the ruler of the known world needed to coach himself this way, how much more do we? Think of your own life. When emotions run high, anger with your spouse, fear about money, jealousy when someone else succeeds, how often do you feel like you are steering the ship? And how often do you feel like the ship is steering you? Be honest. If you've ever said something in anger that you later regretted, leave a yes in the comments. You'll see you're not alone. The Stoics believed emotions are natural, but being ruled by them is a choice. Seneca once compared anger to a fire. A small flame can warm you, but left unchecked, it burns down your house. Marcus echoed this, urging himself not to be carried away by his first impulse. He knew emotions come like waves. You cannot stop the wave from rising, but you can choose whether to be pulled under. Let me share a story. A man in his late 50s once told me about the years he wasted in jealousy. His colleague at work received a promotion he believed was his. "I worked longer hours, I had more experience," he said. But they chose him. Every time he saw his colleague's success, he felt a sting in his chest. For years, that jealousy ate at him, until one day he realized the only person suffering was himself. His colleague was not even aware. "I gave away my peace to someone who never even asked for it," he told me. That realization was Stoic emotions are yours to master, not chains to be dragged by. Ask yourself what emotion most often robs you of peace. Is it anger, envy, fear, anxiety? Write it below. Naming it is the first step to mastering it. Now, how do we actually do this? Marcus gives us one simple, powerful method: pause. Between emotion and reaction, create a space. He reminded himself, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. In other words, the insult is not what hurts you. Your judgment of it does. The setback itself does not break you. Your interpretation of it does. Think of the last time someone cut you off in traffic. The car passed by and was gone. The event itself lasted 2 seconds. But if you carried the anger all the way home, replaying it in your mind, who really caused the suffering? Not the stranger. You did. This is what Marcus wanted to free himself from suffering twice, once from the event and again from the replay. I want you to try something this week. The next time a strong emotion rises, don't fight it, don't deny it, but don't obey it either. Just pause. Take one breath. Ask yourself, is this within my control? Is my judgment making it worse? Then choose your response. If you practice this even once, come back and tell me what happened. Sharing your story might inspire someone else here. And if this practice feels valuable, press the like button now. It's not just a click. It's a small way of pausing, choosing deliberately, and strengthening this community of people committed to calmer, wiser lives. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now so you can continue walking with us as we uncover the wisdom of Marcus and the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius knew emotions could not be eliminated. He didn't try to become a stone. He tried to become a master. He wrote not to silence his heart, but to guide it. Imagine if we lived that way, not cold, but composed. Not emotionless, but unshaken. Marcus Aurelius was not born calm. He trained himself into it. If you read Meditations, you find page after page where he reminds himself not to be angry at the stupidity of others, not to collapse under fear of death, not to be seduced by pleasure or pride. Why repeat it so often? Because he needed to hear it. The Emperor of Rome was practicing the same struggle you and I face each day, not to be ruled by emotions. One of his secrets was perspective. When anger rose, he would remind himself of the offender's humanity. When you wake in the morning, he wrote, expect to meet interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. Why not to become cynical, but to prepare his heart? If you expect the world to be perfect, you will always be angry. If you expect the world to be human, you can forgive. I remember a woman in her early 60s who once came to me overwhelmed with frustration at her neighbors. Loud music at night, gossip during the day, constant small annoyances. They ruin my peace, she said. But the truth was harsher. She gave them her peace. We worked on a practice from Marcus each morning. Before stepping outside, she told herself, today I will meet noise, arrogance, carelessness. And when it happened, she no longer reacted with shock. She nodded, almost amused, and went about her day. After a few months, she told me the neighborhood didn't change. I did. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to forgive someone when you expect them to be flawed, which is harder living among perfect saints who disappoint you once, or among imperfect humans who act exactly as expected? If you've ever freed yourself from anger by adjusting your expectations, tell me. Below your story might be the encouragement someone else needs today. Marcus also wrestled with fear, especially the fear of death. Plagues swept through Rome, striking rich and poor alike. Every day he was reminded of mortality. And yet he told himself, it is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. Fear, he realized, is often misplaced. We fear what is natural and unavoidable, and in doing so, we waste the life we still have. Think about this. How many hours of your life have been eaten by fear of things that never happened? Seneca said it plainly, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. A man I knew recovering from illness once admitted, the hardest part wasn't the pain. It was the fear of pain returning. That fear consumed him more than the sickness ever did. Only when he shifted his focus back to living each day did peace begin to return. What do you fear most? Aging, illness, losing someone you love? Write it below. Don't hide from it. Naming fear is the first step in mastering it. The Stoics didn't erase fear. They looked it in the eye until it shrank. Grief was another storm Marcus knew well. He buried children of his own. Imagine that pain, the Emperor of Rome, with all his power, powerless against death. Yet he wrote, don't imagine that those who are gone are harmed. They are not harmed. You are. It was his way of reminding himself that grief is natural, but wallowing is a choice. To love deeply is to grieve deeply, but grief need not consume us. I once sat with a grandfather who had lost his grandson in an accident. The pain never leaves, he said quietly, but I can choose how I carry it. That is Stoicism, not denial, but dignity and sorrow. Carrying grief without letting it destroy your life. Tell me, have you ever turned grief into a way of honoring someone rather than being broken by it? If so, share it in the comments. Your story may give comfort to someone still in the shadows of loss. Now let's speak of desire. Marcus reminded himself that pleasures pass quickly, and chasing them endlessly leaves us empty. He urged himself to see beyond the surface. Food is just dead animals and plants arranged on a plate. Fine wine, just fermented grape juice. This wasn't cynicism. It was clarity. By seeing things as they truly are, he weakened their hold over him. A man in his 70s once laughed with me about this. He had spent his younger years chasing luxury cars. Every time I bought one, he said I was happy for a month. Then I wanted the next. Only in retirement did he realize the game never ended. Now he told me I drive the simplest car I've ever owned, and I'm happier than I've ever been. Because it gets me where I want to go and it leaves me in peace. What about you? What desire still whispers in your ear, promising happiness if only you grab it? Is it wealth, recognition, possessions, youth? Write it down. Then ask yourself, will this truly give me lasting peace or just another month of chasing? If these reflections stir something in you, take a moment to press the like button. It's not only support for the channel, it's an act of mindfulness, a way of saying, I choose to engage with wisdom rather than react to distraction. And if you haven't subscribed, do it now. Not for me, but for yourself, to have a reminder each week to pause, to reflect, and to live with more calm and strength. Marcus Aurelius faced anger, fear, grief, desire, the same storms we face. His secret was not perfection, but practice. Daily reminders, daily journaling, daily reflection. He was emperor, yet still a student of his own emotions. That humility is what made him strong. When we step back and look at Marcus Aurelius's life, what stands out is not that he conquered armies or expanded Rome. It's that he tried every single day to conquer himself. His journals are not filled with triumphs over enemies, but struggles against his own anger, fear, and pride. This is the heart of Stoic practice. The battlefield is inside. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That single line may be the clearest summary of Stoicism ever written. We cannot stop emotions from rising, but we can decide how we meet them. Imagine anger like a spark landing on your sleeve. You can slap at it wildly and spread the flame, or you can calmly brush it off before it burns. Marcus wanted to be the man who brushed it off. I once knew a father who practiced this in the most ordinary place, his kitchen. His teenage son shouted at him one evening, slamming doors full of rage. The father, instead of shouting back, simply said, "I hear your anger. I'll be here when you want to talk." Then he sat quietly at the table. Hours later, the son returned calmer, and they had the conversation without the fire. The father told me later, "I realized if I had reacted in anger, I would have lost him for the night. My calm gave him a way back." That is Stoicism lived, not just read. Marcus also taught himself to treat each emotion as temporary. He reminded himself, time is like a river of passing events, and its current is strong. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by, and another takes its place. The sadness you feel today, the jealousy that eats at you, the frustration that blinds you, all of them will pass. Knowing this gives you patience. Think of the last time you were furious. Do you still feel it with the same intensity now? Of course not. Time dissolved it. So why let it destroy your peace in the moment? Can you trust the river to carry it away? Write in the comments, what emotion do you most need to remember is temporary? Naming it may help loosen its grip. And if you find this reminder valuable, press the like button now. It's a way of saying, yes, I choose patience over panic. And subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't forget these truths when life presses hard. Another secret Marcus practiced was gratitude. Even in hardship, he trained himself to see what remained. When fear threatened him, he thanked life for another breath. When grief overwhelmed him, he thanked memory for the love he once shared. Gratitude, he found, is the anchor that steadies the heart. I knew a widow in her 70s who told me she survived grief this way. Every night, she said, instead of asking why he was taken, I thanked God for the years I had with him. Gratitude became stronger than sorrow. She didn't erase her pain, she transformed it. That is Stoic mastery. Marcus also warned against being a slave to the emotions of others. He saw clearly that if your happiness depends on how others act, you are chained. If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake, or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change, he wrote. It's the truth I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone. Imagine the humility of an emperor saying this. He was teaching himself not to react defensively, but to welcome correction without wounded pride. How different would your life be if you stopped being controlled by other people's moods and judgments? Think about it. If you've ever broken free from someone's emotional grip, share how you did it below. Your story might show someone else the way out. The truth is, this emotional mastery is not about becoming unfeeling. It is about becoming unshakable. The Stoic does not pretend pain is pleasant. He does not deny that anger rises or that fear stings. He simply refuses to let those forces steer the ship. He remains captain of his own soul. So, what would happen if you lived this way? If when anger rose, you paused instead of lashed out? If when fear whispered, you stepped forward anyway? If when grief crushed you, you carried it with dignity rather than collapse under it? This is what Marcus practiced and what we can practice too. I invite you to begin now. Choose one emotion, just one that often rules you. This week when it rises, pause, breathe. Remind yourself this is temporary. This is within my power to guide. Then act not from impulse, but from intention. And when you try it, come back here and tell us what happened. This community isn't just about listening, it's about walking the path together. If you believe the world needs more of this calm strength, then support this message, like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and share it with someone you know who struggles with their emotions. You might give them the very key that sets them free. Marcus Aurelius lived 2,000 years ago, yet his wisdom feels written for today. The wars, betrayals, and plagues of his world may look different than ours, but the storms inside the human heart are the same. His reminder still holds: your mind is yours. Your response is yours. And in mastering your emotions, you master your life.